The rain is constant.
Absolutely chaotic, heavy torrential rain.
The tracks are muddy.
It's hard to believe there was even a track there.
The convoy pushed to its limits.
Oh my God, like how the hell?
The High Country continues to test our mettle, but with a little ingenuity and the indomitable spirit of man, no amount of rain or mud is going to break us.
We just don't need another thing to go wrong today.
All this for a beer and a schnitty?
As we were heading along the track, creek crossing after creek crossing, little muddy parts on the track from the rain before, the sun was starting to set and we needed to start looking for a campsite itself within the area.
We knew our campsite was going to be somewhere along the Nicholson River track. We didn't have a designated camp spot for that night, so it was going to be a bit challenging. From our perspective, we really just wanted to get ourselves in.
This was a plan B. So basically as we're going across, we're looking for somewhere to camp and it's heavy bush, really heavy bush, narrow tracks.
With Honey at the helm, I duck off for a scout, and we might have just found our campsite for the evening.
So the track that we went down was stupidly overgrown.
Goodness knows when these tracks were last driven, the undergrowth was tight. It's hard to believe there was even a track there.
The Iveco was 2 cars in front of us and it's just gone through a slight corner and this great big orange truck has disappeared in the green and I'm going, where's the Iveco gone? Scrubbed down either side, the mirrors are in flat, opened out into a nice little flat area, enough to park all the vehicles and set up the tent, absolutely buried in the jungle.
Halt right, no, it's halt left.
This was properly roughing it.
Came with its own natural shower, hey?
Yeah, it was wet, it was wet.
Seems to be a good fire, not having wet wood, which unfortunately we have today. But I'm going to use a little bit of accelerant underneath. Hopefully all these little sticks will dry out real quick. The biggest thing is we need air. A lot of people just chuck a whole bunch of logs on and hope for the best, but without air, there's no fire.
We tried all sorts of things to get the fire going, from degreaser, then fire lighters, and ripping up all the paper we had.
And when you get into those situations, there's lots of different ways you can get things going.
Not doing too well with the Boy Scout fire stuff, and then Simon brings out the flamethrower.
Typical Simon fashion, just a bit of brake cleaner and a lighter will get us going.
So yeah, that got it going.
Yeah.
You can tell why he hasn't got any hair on his head, because he's a bit of a maniac like that, and he's probably lost it by playing with brake cleaner and fire in the past.
It's on!
So despite being in the wilds, in the wet, still managed to cook up some delicious bangers and mash, have a bit of a laugh around the fire, which eventually got going quite well, and then snuggle down in the swag and out like a light.
We had about 10 to 20 mil of rain overnight, and it's probably one of the best feelings to be inside a swag or a rooftop tent listening to the rain to help you get to sleep.
It had been a big day and we were pretty sure the next day was going to be even bigger after this much rain. We knew things were going to get interesting.
Tell you what, some of this rain that we had overnight was absolutely chaotic. I don't think I've ever slept in such heavy torrential rain. Woke up to the sound of a huge tree crashing, probably I reckon 200 metres from our camp.
If you're ever camping within the Australian bush, particularly in the high country, make sure you look up as to where you're camping, because the last thing you want is a tree to fall on your campsite.
This is sort of fair indication of how much rain we got.
Sometimes in the morning when it's been raining all night and the wood is just too wet to start, you've got to employ some indigenous techniques. You've got to get back to your cultural roots and look at how you get a fire going with the old style. This is some of my famous bush tricks.
Now that we've got our bellies filled, it's time to throw our weight around and get a wriggle on.
After breakfast, we ploughed our way through the tight bush, and it didn't seem like we'd made any improvement by driving through there the night before. It was still super tight.
And we have no idea what the track holds ahead. All we know is that it's most likely a lot of mud because it's been raining all night.
You guys are probably going to witness how the tracks go from nice dirt to that classic clay, making things slippery and very interesting.
Well guys, as the silly season approaches, it's a big Merry Christmas from the team here at your 4x4. We're hoping you have a warm and wonderful festive season and happy wheeling this Christmas.
Ho ho ho!
Merry Christmas to all you four-wheel drivers.
And then we got back onto the main track, and now the potholes that we've been bouncing around yesterday were bog holes. Just full of mud. And the hard part was because they're full of water, you can't tell how deep they are, so you've got to be really careful and just nosing in. This looks like fun.
We came across a series of those, and you just have to look for your lines, put your wheels on the edges of the puddles just in case they're really deep.
Drag the diff through here.
We then stumbled across the Yahoo gold mine. This gold mine was actually quite different to some of the other ones that I've seen over the number of trips I've done in the high country, because there was this old little shack, but next to it was really surprising.
They had like all this bunding around.
Not what you expect to find in the bush. I did wonder what the berm was around, but it's bunding for explosion. Must be for mining explosives or something.
There was no unexploded ordnance within the boxes, but it was obvious that they were there at some point.
From then on, it was just following the track through, and it was, again, really overgrown, rutted, plenty of bog holes. Just a really, really fun drive.
This is seriously jungle.
Oh yeah, another creek crossing.
After another creek crossing, it was quite obvious that the track conditions were rapidly changing, where we were going from that dirt and dust and we're coming into that really slippery clay.
You ducked in and there was a hard left-hand bend. Simon got us to hold back while he went round and negotiated it.
David, I need to winch out of this, please, David.
We jumped out of our cars and we ran around.
And there's this yellow clay mud pit. There's obviously a huge amount of erosion. There's just been this great big trench on the one side.
Sure enough, he's really stuck.
The Iveco was basically on quite an angle, at risk of tipping over into the banks.
We've got a massive hole behind the front driver's wheel, so if we drop into that, there's a good chance you could tip over. It's a fairly hefty angle. So came up what was a medium okay line. We need to pull across to the left, but being slippery, the amount of rain we've had has pushed us across to the right. So we've done a tight winch across to the left, hook ourselves up, get the winch loaded up, and just gently start moving in the right direction. We should be good to go. Clear winching!
I know he's had a few engine issues throughout this trip, so I think the power was down a little bit, which probably didn't help him trying to get up this hill. Nice and easy. I knew there was a few newbies on the trip that were pretty impressed to see that type of winching and expertise from Simon.
Whew. I'm glad I'm not driving. That's all I'm going to say. That's interesting. I didn't think he was going to get out of there.
Right, who's next?
After seeing the Iveco get stuck, the rest of the convoy decided to go through a safer way.
What could go wrong?
It's not going to work.
Diff locks in, low floor, just keep nice and high.
Go back.
Bit of speed, I think.
Left hand down.
Even so, the safer line still proved to be a little tricky.
I saw that the Mike Coolman car had a little bit of issues, but were able to punch through it without needing any further recovery gear.
Whoa!
Next up, Yokohama.
It was nerve-wracking to not let that back tyre slip in and pull the car into the rut, and I was pretty relieved to get out the other side.
Way too easy. Now how about Matt?
A little bit worried about the Ranger with the amount of weight we got in the back of it, potentially slipping and sliding our way into that rut, but hugging hard along the tree line, we managed to get our way up, not a single issue at all.
Woo! Let's go!
Glad everyone else got up there on the chicken line without sliding into that big rut. There's a few nervous moments.
But Mum said it was the little rut's turn on the Xbox.
Those ruts are nice as you come around the corner. You might want to ride them, or if you want to sit in them, rear locker and a bit of power. A little bit of a tight corner for the big Iveco.
Copy that. Clear to come through?
Send it.
Send it.
It's funny how you hit these ruts and you almost become the passenger in the car.
You're in. Oh, you're down. You're up.
Consider it sent.
Give up on the steering. The car's just got to follow the ruts. You just got to make sure you've got enough grip and momentum so each time it diffs out, you can keep going. The pressure put on the diffs won't overcome the grip of the tyres.
Can I dip out on those if I ride the ruts?
Yeah, I wasn't successful riding the ruts. I dropped in anyway.
Each apologies in advance if I spray.
David, once you're up, chainsaw, please.
Punching along the track, we had come across another fallen tree. So Simon had to get the chainsaw out, move that one to the side so the rest of the convoy could go through.
Once that was out of the way, we continued our journey, crisscrossing back and forth along the Nicholson River.
There's yet another creek crossing, which is exciting. Nothing beats going through a river crossing, even if it's only 20 centimetres deep, and being able to look up left and right and see how amazing and picturesque this country of ours is.
Beautiful sandy crossing, guys. That is just stunning.
And sometimes I like to get out on the other side of the creek crossing and actually see if they have a quick flick or have a walk up the crossings themselves.
Guess what? Another river crossing.
Just beautiful along here. The Nicholson River is really turning it on for us, guys.
What surprises have we got in this stream?
As you're rolling through, just take the time. They're not very deep. Jump out, take a photo of your car, have a look left and right, and you'll see some amazing, amazing countryside that we have.
And then we came across another creek crossing, but this one was completely different because it had a very unusual feature.
I was very confused when I heard Simon say, "This is really cool, driving over this log on the track." And I wasn't sure if he was trying to make a joke, and that he could drive over it and no one else could. But sure enough, just for the river crossing, there's a tree across the track. And this thing would have been
in excess of 1 metre in diameter.
It was too big to clear.
And the people that came along, their solution for that
is they've actually cut a big square out of it.
Cut a path through it.
And you drive over through the tree and onto the river crossing.
So it's essentially like a bush speed bump. Highly effective speed bump because it's pretty hard to get over.
Nice and gentle. Go down softly.
Are you going down soft?
That's as soft as it goes.
As soft as it goes.
It wasn't the nicest feeling in the world.
Goodness gracious. Man, I rode the chassis rails on that one.
Yeah, you sure did. Yep, that's bellied out.
Solid gum tree is not so good on the undercarriage, so
Can lead to splinters.
it's going to, yeah.
Something I've never experienced before. Very ingenious to be able to do something like that, and hats off to whoever did it.
Guys, the weather's really turned on us. It's been a terrible day. It's just been raining non-stop. We just don't need another thing to go wrong today.
Heading through picturesque bushland, and then we hear over the radio that the camera car needs a hand.
By the time I've got around, all I can see is Simon nudging the camera car up the hill with the Iveco, which was pretty funny.
Recommended by 9 out of 10 panel beaters.
Keep swinging left and right. That's it. Keep into it, keep into it, keep into it. All right, come back one more time. That was good.
Unfortunately, there's nothing they can do to get up it.
No, you're bottomed out there. All right.
We'll get the winch cable out. Hang on.
Well, winching!
It was a bit of a long winch getting the camera car to the top.
Just nice and gentle.
Some great driving by Paul.
Turn your winch off. Well done, Paul.
I'm just going, oh my God, like how the hell are we going to get up this?
Let's see how the Iveco goes.
Simon managed to charge up the hill with fantastic momentum, just ate it up, got all the way to the top. It was quite a jubilant moment, like, woohoo, you know, you can get up this freaking hill.
Woo! Made it look completely easy.
All right, guys, that's how we do it.
We should have shut that.
Is this yours?
Somebody got the parts out but didn't shut the toolbox. Right, who's next?
Any last words before you send it up the hill?
Any last words for breaking the Iveco? It's more important. This sort of comes under the heading of, I really don't think it's a good idea. Anyway, we'll give it a crack.
I didn't want to get in the car to go up the hill. I just knew it was going to end in disaster, right?
Good to see that they've got confidence. You've got the winch cable 3/4 of the way down already.
The man up the top, not God, Simon Christie, next best thing, definitely knows what he's doing. Sometimes you have to just put faith in the leader that it'll all be all right.
Drive! Left and right, left and right. Left and right, faster, left and right. That's it, keep driving. Keep going.
Well, I'm amazed. I'm very relieved we got up. So I've only broken one truck today. I'm on a roll.
There is a road further back. We could bypass this and go another direction because is it worth damaging the cars?
That should not be like that.
And this is the last thing you want. Went up the first bit, which was quite easy, sticking to the left, and then you just have to drop down into this angled rut. Drive in straight, and then the front goes dunk, and then the back slides in and goes dunk. As the progress started to slow, Simon's saying left, right, left, right, left, right. Intuitively, you want to go left to get away from the bank, but Simon's going, no, more right, more right. He wants you to steer into the bank, which made no sense whatsoever to me. But apparently, if your front tyre's pointing in, that becomes the buffer to the bank. I was so stoked when I got up the top.
We're ready to start this climb. GWM got up, Yokohama car got up. A bit heavier, but we'll see how we go. Well, pressure's on now. I've got to make it happen. Get ourselves into it, slide ourselves right into the rut. Bit of left and right on the steering wheel. And we wedged our way up there nice and easy.
Righto, we're hitting a steep incline, lots of clay, 2 bog holes in the middle. Let's see how this goes. This will be fun. I'm sideways on the track there.
Up there. Back out.
I might just go back down and take that left line back up. Still got 3/4 of the rut to hit still.
Left and right, left and right. That's it, keep into it, left and right. More right, more right, more right. Yep, that's it, keep going, all the way to the top. Good drive.
Woo, let's go, made that up.
Woo, nice work.
That was fun.
Well done.
We all successfully made it to the top of the rut, and our celebration from here was actually cut short.
And this is the last thing you want in the middle of the bush.
That sucks.
Tune in next week to see if we can get out of this mess. Click here to check out the time we got caught in the rain while driving on a ridge in the Flinders Ranges.